Let's bring in Mike Lyons. He's a military analyst for CBS News Radio. He joins us now on set. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
If North Korea indeed tested a hydrogen bomb as it claims, what would that mean and how surprising of an advancement would that be?
Yeah, it's more of an advancement over a typical atomic bomb. A hydrogen bomb is something that can be made without using external supply from other countries. It would show more capability. The hydrogen bomb has 25 times what an atomic bomb can do. So the fact that he's saying he's miniaturized it, put it on an ICBM, it shows real threat. The fact it caused an earthquake within Russia, within China. It's the kind of thing that can literally affect its neighbors. So again, this is something we've got to be concerned, but we still haven't verified it is a hydrogen bomb.
The propaganda coming out of North Korea talks in terms of defense, but is there a concern among the U.S. military and advisors to President Trump that Kim Jong-un could be looking to expand his territory?
Well, the question gets back to extortion. That's right. Once he gains this nuclear capability now, he can extort the United States to leave South Korea. And then once that happens, it's possible that he could decide to launch a conventional war there.
Reunite the peninsula.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is all about pressure and power. And once he feels that he could threaten the United States, and it comes back to the situation of a trade-off, you know, San Francisco for Seoul. And what that means is, would we be willing to have them fire potentially a rocket at San Francisco, understanding that we could lose Seoul at the same time as they fire a rocket from North Korea into South Korea. Again, the war gaming that's taking place right now in the Pentagon over this is truly mind-boggling.
Yeah, they must be looking at a lot of different options and not a lot of great options. If the U.S. were to one day be attacked by North Korea, if they can indeed put a nuclear bomb on an intercontinental ballistic missile that can hit mainland U.S., are we prepared to defend this country?
I think the question, we're always prepared to defend. The question gets back to first strike, nuclear capability from our perspective. If they decide to strike out on us conventionally, what do we do there? But for us to pre-position the amount of military assets in that region to assure the kind of victory we need is a pretty big effort. And we're not there all the time. And so some of the things I think we're saying are as rhetorical as what you're hearing from North Korea. We'd have to send hundreds of thousands of troops to South Korea if we decided to do something. I also think it'd be irresponsible for us to do any kind of preemptive strike without evacuating civilians from South Korea. So we'd lose all element of surprise. Usually when the United States goes to war, you look in the past 25 years, we beat the war drum over and over and we give lots of warning. That's starting to happen, no question about it right now. The question is whether or not we can get him to the table to talk.
As the technology out of North Korea continues to ladder toward a truly intercontinental nuclear warhead, what is the calculation from the U.S. in terms of hanging back, waiting for it to actually be in place, or taking a preemptive action to prevent that final step to put the weapon on the top of an intercontinental missile?
I think we've got to also be concerned about the capability to put it on any missile. So I know we're focused right now on that ICBM, and that's what he's talking about. But what no one's talking about is putting it on a submarine. You put that on a submarine, you slip that through the Pacific Fleet, you get that off the shore in California. It gives him tremendous capability, not just to strike, let's say, the West Coast, because his capability right now is probably limited to that. He doesn't have a space program, so he can't really guide any missile once it leaves the launch pad. And there's unassured whether or not the missile survives re-entry based on laws of physics in that regard. But the bottom line is you bring a submarine in closer to the shore. Now he threatens Chicago, New York. He threatens the East Coast.
But is a nuclear-armed North Korea a tolerable state of affairs, or must there be preemptive action as they get closer?
U.S. policy says no, it's not tolerable. We won't want to admit to that. Because once we do, now we've got to bring them into the entire community of other nuclear weapons, countries. We've got to be real concerned about proliferation. We know the Iranians, for example, are working with the North Koreans in the development of this. You take the missile technology that they're doing as well, in 10 years when our Iranian nuclear deal sunsets, well, now Iran's got this capability. So that's what we're concerned about is nuclear weapons in South Korea, Japan, and other countries.
Isn't it too late, though? Do we have to accept a nuclear-armed North Korea? They've made so many advancements already.
Well, that just depends on what you think the military solution would be, because we've kicked this problem down the road for the past 25 years. You might have estimated 25 years ago to solve this, it would have been, let's say, hundreds of thousands of casualties. But now, unfortunately, that's in the millions. Given the fact that there's so much conventional weapons along the 30th parallel, the border, there's no guarantee we'd hit everything in the first time. But you would destroy the South Korean economy, the 8th largest in the world. The South China Sea would not transport what is 60% of the world's goods through it. So the world's impact of this would be catastrophic. So this is why China, everyone's got to get back in the game here.
Wow. So much at stake. Mike Lyons of CBS News Radio, thank you.